Before we start this week's Doctor Who podcast, I'd just like to take a moment to acknowledge the sad death of two actors who appeared in the modern era of Doctor Who. John Sessions played the villain Gus in Mummy on the Orient Express, and he was fantastic in that role. We've praised him multiple times throughout this podcast. He sadly passed away on Monday at the age of 67 of a heart condition. And then yesterday on Friday, it was announced sadly that Geoffrey Palmer, who's perhaps best known for appearing in Tomorrow Never Dies, the Bond film, but he was also in Voyage of the Damned as the captain of the Titanic. He passed away peacefully at his home at the age of 93. Condolences to his family, to their family and friends at this sad time. Now, not to be disrespectful, but changing the mood completely, I believe Kat has something she'd like to say.
Celebrate good times. He's gone. I'm so happy.
I want to give you a big hug. It's
congratulations from here as well.
Hugs and high fives for everybody.
Not to get too political, but congratulations.
Not to get too political, but let's discuss the political situation at the time of recording.
Political. Fuck Trump. He's gone. He's out. Doesn't matter what kind of recounts he has. He's fucked to shit, and we're going to throw him out of the White House, and it feels great.
I mean, when his own lawyers are saying you haven't got a legal case, Donald, it's over.
Yeah, we're recording this.
He never actually listens to his fucking lawyers.
We're recording this like not 2 hours after all the major
official announcement.
Declare a Biden projected victory.
Or to put it in a way that players of Among Us will understand. 2 hours ago, Orange was ejected.
Oh God!
Because I'm one of those players.
I've never played Among Us before, but I understood that reference.
Seriously,
that's a bold statement to make to the person who bought it for his birthday.
Oh yeah. And I appreciate it all the same.
In fairness, I've got birthday and Christmas presents I haven't played yet because I haven't got around to playing them, so it's fine.
It's okay. It's okay, Rainiac. He plays it just as much as he listens to the podcast.
You know the funny thing? You're absolutely right.
Wait, how did this bus get on top of me?
Is it a Venga bus?
Well,
it is coming.
Well, oh Jesus. Well, the political news that has Kat so jubilated will help with the subject matter of this podcast.
Yep, we're finally doing Series 12 again.
Oh boy! It's fun because, to quote the late Sean Connery, I wrote it down so I wouldn't have to remember.
I now have a confession to make. I have been slowly rewatching Series 12 over the past few weeks, not telling anyone about it, doing it in secret, to prepare for this occasion. And we've been putting this off for about 7 months?
6 months?
7 months?
Yeah.
You say putting it off, I say carefully avoiding it so that we don't have to talk
about it. Yeah, the classic reviews were
only
meant to be temporary. They were meant to be... Originally, it was just going to be the one, the Ronnie watch and done. And then we enjoyed it, and people seemed to like it, so we extended it out to a few more reviews. And then a few more reviews.
And a few more.
Yeah.
And, whammo dammo, we're talking about things that we can't mention on the podcast anymore.
Yeah.
And there you go.
Once we got to that point, I think it was pretty much a tone of, we really don't want to talk about Series 12 for very good reasons. So.
Yeah. I will say now, having rewatched it, there's some really bad stuff in there, but overall, I don't think it's entirely terrible.
That's about valid, yeah.
There are some really good episodes in there. There are some really poor episodes in there.
Yep.
It's more of a balance than Series 11 was.
Yeah, Series 11 had two episodes that I really liked. I mean, 3 since you two count Kerblam.
I can't rewatch Series 11.
I think the biggest
Not even for the frog?
I've watched that one, but the whole series, I just couldn't do it.
Always rewatch the frog. The frog is amazing.
Yeah. So, my high water marks for Series 11, you can compare with whatever high water marks say at the end of this one.
Yeah.
My high water marks were Demons of the Punjab and It Takes You Away. So, you know,
Yeah,
2 out
that's
of
about
10.
right for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
You
and
don't
I
rate
throw
Kablam?
Kablam in at number 3 and The Witchfinders at number 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's... Yeah, I mean, I can't say you're wrong. I
And
have
everything
my
else
own
gets
objections
gathered
to
up and
Kablam,
put in the garbage.
but-
Well, no, Woman was alright.
Yeah, Woman Who Fell to Earth is, like, decent.
But everything else gets
Good.
gathered up and
It's
put in the
just
garbage.
The villain really took down the whole episode of Rosa.
I've just realised that I've insulted people that like Rosa.
Rosa is, I don't know how to put it.
It was necessary, but it wasn't.
I would
Great.
say it's the episode that you don't want to watch again, but you need
Yeah.
to watch it again.
Yeah.
5 minutes in, local man gets cancelled.
But Series
we were
12
canceled
was
long ago.
Series 12 then followed a year after, and exactly a year after the last Doctor Who episode. In fact, we had 2019 with all of one episode, Resolution,
Ugh.
which we had to spend the entire year actually having a conversation.
Yeah.
Fuck.
And now we're
But-
in the year of 2020, where the only thing we can do is use the fucking Wi-Fi. So good job.
Yeah.
Oops. So, yeah, 2020, we started, literally, New Year's Day 2020, we started Series 12, and it ended 2 months later, and we put it off for 7 months.
Oh my
So,
god, I just realized that was the beginning of this year.
Yeah.
How long has this year been?
About 2 decades?
I'm gonna level with you something that I mentioned. I don't know if we'll talk about this specific episode later, but in Praxeus, when I wrote about Praxeus,
Yeah.
I actually typed, and this was in mid-February, whenever that episode aired, I typed, it's deeply unfortunate that this had to come out on the heels of this coronavirus outbreak. Like,
Yeah.
I was writing it as in a sort of detached, oh, that sucks that that's happening over in Asia now. Not realizing that the entire fucking planet was fucked.
Yeah, and it,
I think it was March when I started to leave my work and go into lockdown and everything.
Yeah, March.
I
March is
defended
when-
the decision to show Praxeus when they did and not delay it or replace it with another episode, because then we didn't have lockdown. It was just in Asia.
Right.
Not to sound
I would say
xenophobic.
it's more
I'm
that
not
it was
saying
meant
they
and
shouldn't have
transmitted.
transmitted it. I'm just saying it was a bit of unfortunate synergy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do defend the
It's like,
BBC's
it
decision
didn't
to show
get
it.
better the longer we went into 2020 either. But that's not Praxis' fault.
We've never had a
That's not the
delay.
BBC's fault.
We've never had a delay caused by news events of the modern era of Doctor Who. We've had a delay caused by Eurovision, if that counts. But the closest we got to it was a scene was cut out of the Sheriff of Nottingham episode because there was a beheading in the UK, and the Sheriff of Nottingham was beheaded and revealed to be a robot. They cut that scene out.
Right.
It's like,
So,
honestly, this has happened in other series, though, too. I mean, there was an entire episode in Japan of an anime that was completely cut away. Some of you might know the infamous boat meme from Japan.
Oh, nice boat!
Yeah.
Oh, yeah!
A wrestler lost his job because on the day of the 7/7 bus bombings,
Oh, no.
they aired an angle where his group carried someone away like a martyr.
Oh.
And he got the blame, and he was destroyed and taken off television and then fired.
Yeah. So there's a whole lot of unfortunate timing that could happen with pretty much any series. So it's not one of those things that you need to be like, well, Praxeus, they should have held that off. They should not have had that. It's like,
No.
it's going to happen at some point.
Like I said, it's just unfortunate circumstance. It's not like I'm not calling for, oh, that was a mistake that they aired at that time.
Yeah.
I should have known better. Nothing
Yeah,
like
there's
that.
no pitches or pitchforks or torches needed.
No,
so.
not at all.
Well. You might have something to say when we talk about the timeless children.
I'm going to level. I'm going to level. I'm going to ignore that remark as well. I'm going
Actually,
to level.
No, keep the torches and pitchforks because we still need to talk about the fact that Praxeus is just Orphan 55 but worse.
What?
I think the word you're looking for is better.
I thought that Orphan 55. I thought that you thought Orphan 55 was worse, Cat.
I rewatched it.
Oh shit!
That's
Turned
fine.
around.
That's
You
fine.
turned around.
To quote Eric Bischoff, controversy creates cash.
So, I think you
We're not
have
getting paid
a...
for you guys are getting paid for this?
No.
Absolutely. So, Rainick, I think you had a structure in mind for our
Well,
little
yeah,
discussion here.
I'll level with our audience here. We've got a loose structure in mind. This is a lot more free form and free flowing than our usual discussions, where there's an actual, not a script, but a printed order, if you will, of talking points.
Yeah, a template.
We're just going to talk about the Doctor and then the companions throughout the series, and then a bit on the Master that I'm very keen to get into. The overall plot of this series, which I'm not so keen to get into.
Come on, we gotta bite the bullet here.
The monsters, any sort of overarching themes of the series, and then our top 3 best and our top 3 worst episodes, and then you will tell us what our fate is for next week.
Yeah. I've got it all planned out, but
I'm looking forward to that.
yeah, but like you said, let's start with Jodie Whittaker in her second series as Dr. Hoonst.
Okay. So, I still think she's not among the strongest Doctors, but I don't think it's her fault.
No, it is really not.
I think it's the material she's got to work with, because she's got a natural charm, she's got a certain goofy quality to her.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She is fantastic in little bits like Spyfall, where she's playing cards and then she shouts "snap." And she is finding an identity as the Doctor in her second series that she didn't really have in the first.
There is one problem I have with the Doctor, the character, not the actress, of course, and that problem is inconsistency.
Yeah.
Like, if you look at episodes, like, sometimes she'll do a thing, and then 4 episodes later she'll do the complete opposite thing of that. Yeah. Like, let's just throw an example out there. Orphan 55, one of the critiques you had was that she didn't go back to say Bella and Kane at the end when they sacrificed themselves to blow shit up.
Yeah, what the hell?
And so, yeah, that's obviously, like, what the fuck, you should have done that. But at the time, you could have argued, like, you could have made a little headcanon of, oh, well, probably couldn't do it because web time, blah, blah, blah. There's probably some reason for it somewhere. It sucks, but you could square it away. A couple weeks later, Praxeus airs. You had the same sort of situation. Doctor pops on, saves the day, saves the couple, and pops out again. The exact opposite.
Yeah.
And it's like, what the fuck?
I think we made this point, did we not, when we reviewed those 2 episodes?
Yeah.
We probably did. Another example is and this is a big thing that really got into people's craws back in the day, the mind wiping bullshit. With Spyfall, you've got tell me the names of the historical figures, please. Ada Lovelace
and Noor Inayat Khan.
Ada Lovelace and Noor Inayat Khan, the lady. I'm sorry, I got your name wrong. Yes, it's basically just, oh, the web of time has to be sacrosanct. I had to wipe your mind. No, don't wipe my mind, but I have to.
Yeah.
And it sucked. And then a couple weeks later, Nikola Tesla's Night of Terror comes along. Nikola Tesla sees a shitload of aliens. And does he get his goddamn mind wiped? No.
Nope.
I do have a reasoning behind that.
Okay. What you got?
Tesla was not easily believed. So if he starts talking about aliens in that, he's not going to be believed, so it's not a danger to the timeline. Ada Lovelace is respected.
All right.
So she says, oh, we got aliens and robots. People might start believing her and mess up with the timeline. It's a very thin justification for it.
Yeah. I get, but you can see where I'm coming from.
That both of them are very smart people. They would know that, hey, maybe I shouldn't talk about
No, I think the mind wipe was hideous. I do.
But I mean, yeah, thing. But I mean, if you're going to do that, you got to say it. You can't just. I mean, I don't blame the writers. And I'm sorry to harp on him. I blame Chibnall here. The ball. Yeah. This is where he dropped it because he is the showrunner. Yeah. It's his literal job to make this consistent and all work together and take the script that one writer's written and the script that the other writer's written and make this season as a whole flow together.
And that's something that both Moffat and Davies before him were brilliant at.
Exactly. Yeah. So, like, the individual writers, I assume, made their own decisions. Like, well, actually, Chibnall wrote fucking Spyfall. So, like, why did he fucking But Nina Matevier, and he had a co-write on Nikola Tesla's Night of Terror, didn't he? Nina Matevier?
To put it this way, out of the 10 episodes that we got, not including Resolution, he wrote on 8 of those.
So that's even more baffling to me.
The feeling is that anything that had anything tying into the story arc, he co-wrote.
Yeah. But, like, that just makes me even more baffled, because if he has co-writes on these episodes, why the hell didn't he say to his co-writer, hey, can we change this to make it more consistent with episode 1?
Because I don't think he's here to make a good Doctor Who series. I think that he is here specifically just to make an interesting Doctor Who series.
You can be interesting and good at the same time.
That's more diplomatic than what I was going to say.
He has so many parts of this where it's interesting. You know, like the Doctor being the timeless child. That's interesting. It is actually interesting. But you have the Master coming back, and he was disguising himself as just a human out in the outback. That's interesting. And you have the idea of Orphan 55 and Praxeus. Those are interesting. However, that doesn't mean that they're specifically good.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Orphan 55, but I have to concede, it's a mess.
Yeah.
Gunnar is getting cancelled the second time here in as quick as 15 minutes, but I think that you say, what he's doing is interesting, and I think, yes, it is. I have the feeling he became showrunner of Doctor Who to put his own mark on it.
He became the showrunner of Doctor Who to put his fan fiction on the line.
I mean, it's hard to disagree with that assessment, considering the timeless children.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I really want to be nice to Jill. I don't want to slag. Like, I had this problem too when the series was airing with all these co-writes. It's tempting to go, all the parts that don't work are Chibnall, and all the parts that do work are his co-writer. But it's unfair to do that.
Yeah, I'm not going to make that assumption.
Yeah. But Timeless Children is fanfic.
Yeah.
You can't say otherwise. Like, it really just is fan wanky bullshit.
It's like, even when you look at all the rest of it, it's like Spyfall is basically just James Bond fanfiction. And you have Orphan 55 and Praxis. That's him using fanfiction in order to get out his message about the environment. Nikola Tesla's Night of Terror and Haunting of Villa whatever, those are both just the Halloween-y chapters of the fanfiction.
And then you have Ascension of the Cybermen, Timeless Children, which is...
Yeah.
I really fucking love Gallifrey and Earthshock, everybody.
I don't think that Spyfall was fanfiction. I think it was a James Bond homage.
It was a genre mix. It's like like Doctor Who
say
does.
that, but let me put it this way: I'm going to admit something that I don't admit to a lot of people. I actually read fan fiction. I like certain fan fictions that do things well. Like, oddly enough, I read a lot of Harry Potter fan fiction where they delve more in depth into the things that I actually want to think about, like the consequences of the Dursleys hurting Harry Potter and how fucked up the realm of the wizards actually is, and things like that. So I've seen a lot of tropes in fan fiction. I've read a lot of things that people do, and just having the Master suddenly be there, that's something that would happen in a fan fiction. The Doctor going in and being able to be all James Bond and do that, that's completely fan fiction.
Yeah. Like, we don't mean fan fiction specifically as a pejorative, because, like you say, Kat, fan fiction can be good.
Yeah.
I like stuff written by fans too. Like, you get that sort of thing out of fan fiction. I get it out of critical analysis, my Doctor Who fan circles.
Exactly.
So I get that sort of thing. People exploring interesting concepts and interesting readings of the episodes and the series overall. So fanfic can be good, but it can also be indulgent nonsense.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to say.
It could be good, or it could be My Immortal.
Indulgent nonsense, you say? Maybe Spyfall was fanfiction after all.
Well,
Yeah.
I said at the top of Spyfall Part 1 when I wrote about it that it was Chibnall's best script.
Oh, I like part
And
one.
I think, Part
Yeah.
1, Spyfall, is Chibnall's best script, I think.
I have nothing
It's-
against part one. The problem is never did Chris Chibnall.
Part 1, Spyfall, has a real great energy to it. It is James Bonding the shit out of Doctor Who, which is a genre that has experience with, The Pertwee era had that sort of vibe to it as well, but this gets a modern upgrade to it. There's lots of cool shit with gadgets and whatnot, and a mystery. A big reveal at the end, which I was spoiled by on Twitter.
You've just revealed. You just.
I wasn't, so that was good.
You just made me remember now that I've got to wait another 5 to 6 months to see No Time to Die, and now I'm sad.
Oh, damn. But, Spyfall 1. Well, we were supposed to be talking with the Doctor, I know, but we got into a little...
No, but I think that's one of her best performances, because you've got the thing about the card game, but you've also got the fact that her interactions with Stephen Fry are great, her interactions with O are great.
Mm-hmm.
And when the spotlight's on Jodie Whittaker, she really is good.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's just the writing. And again, one thing with David Tennant, right, he had a lot of crap to work with.
I will have things to say regarding David Tennant later.
He had some terrible episodes to contend with. He did.
Yeah.
He made it work.
Love and Monsters.
Yeah, he made it work because of his personal charm. Even in bad episodes, he's a highlight.
I don't think we can call Love and Monsters bad on David Tennant's part because he's barely in it.
I'm not talking about Love and Monsters. I'm not going to mention specific episodes, but you all know what the ones I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Mediocre to outright bad episodes, but he was in it, and because he was in it, they were watchable, and he elevated it.
The point that we're trying to make is that there are some episodes where the writing is god-awful. It just depends on how the actor takes that writing and uses it. That determines if it's going to be a good episode or not.
Matt Smith did the same thing with David Tennant. He managed to rescue bad scripts. Peter Capaldi, God yes.
It's like
Peter Capaldi is the good part of Lie of the Land.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And
I hate what he's saying.
If I may, I'm going to say something that may be a little bit divisive. I don't know yet. But just in case, I'm just going to go ahead and lay this out. This is my own opinion.
Okay.
To me, with series, some of series 11 and most of series 12, it feels a lot like the Doctor and Jodie in this case got Colin Bakered.
Yeah.
I can see where you're coming from.
I think she got Colin Baker from the minute she was cast.
Yeah, Colin Baker is not a bad actor. He takes the scripts that he's given and he acts them out how they're supposed to be, but he's still entertaining and fun to watch.
Like,
episodes.
If you hadn't pranked me with the twin dilemma, what I would have said is that Colin Baker does a fantastic job with playing the character written on the script. The problem is that the character written on the script is an unstable, abusive jackass.
Yeah.
And Colin Baker nailed that and made everybody hate his Doctor because of it. Yeah. But it wasn't his fault. He played what was on the page.
So it's like, I have this feeling that, like, Jodie is playing what is being given to her. Mm-hmm. But unfortunately, what's being given to her is just really bad.
I know from experience, and I said this before, but I'll say it again, that she is a really good actress. She broke people's hearts in Broadchurch, which, funny enough, Chris Chibnall wrote.
Well, yeah, that's probably how she got the job. Because,
she was great in Trust Me, where she was playing somebody who was lying about being a qualified doctor.
Wow.
It's not her acting abilities; they're at fault here, or in question here.
Not.
But unfortunately, not every actor or actress in the world out there is suited to a particular role.
Yeah.
And the jury's still out whether she is suited to be the Doctor.
Which, actually, I was talking to my friend Chris about this earlier this week, where, I essentially expressed the fact that I have to watch Series 12 again. I wasn't happy about it. And she had recently showed me that she had bought something. It was a specific DVD celebrating a certain couple, if you might, of the royal family.
Uh-huh.
And so she asked me the immortal question of, how pissed off would the general British public be if Meghan Markle was the Doctor?
If who?
Meghan Markle.
I think the TV license will be cancelled overnight.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I said, is that I said nobody there would want that, so it would never happen. And more specifically, I would not want that.
Oh my god.
I don't think she'll be an actress any longer, personally.
No, I mean, she's part of the royal family now, and honestly, I feel
Well,
bad
maybe not for
her.
much longer.
I feel bad for her. She's being dealt
I don't
a
mean
bad
she'll get
hand.
divorced from Prince Harry. I mean that they're going to cease being a part of the royal family.
Wild.
Well, either way, there's always going to be these actors and actresses that we would want to see in this role.
Yeah.
Obviously, some of them can't be because, I mean, I can't see the Doctor being anything but British, so that eliminates a lot of actors from other countries. But if someone has, the right chops for it, then they could be the Doctor, and it doesn't matter. And Jodie, I think she could be the Doctor, however, she doesn't seem to just have what it takes.
Yeah.
Essentially. It's like the Doctor is a very... I'm trying to think of exactly how to put this. The Doctor, because we've been watching all these series and we've seen it, and we can see the consistencies that are in the Doctor's character. They're always very excitable. They really are smart. They love to take a look at everything. They're inquisitive. They're curious. They'll constantly butt their nose into whatever they want to. And if I'm correct, Broadchurch is a very dramatic series, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
So it may be that having someone who's better at drama would not be that great at, being the Doctor.
See, it's interesting you say that, because that's a critique that people had for Colin Baker as well, that he's a very dramatic and theatrical actor.
Wow, so you mean my my whole theory about her being Colin Baker is kind of right?
Yeah, sounds
It
like
could be,
it.
but she's been... I can't remember off the top of my head, but she's been in non-serious roles before as well.
But
the fact
yeah,
that you can't remember off the top of your head says a lot.
yeah.
But the main problems for me with her as the Doctor, we've mentioned the inconsistency.
Yeah.
I said this back in Series 11, and it still hasn't happened. She still lacks that steel.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She shows glimpses of it in the Nikola Tesla episode, in the Timeless Child episodes, but she's still not got it consistently. And the third big problem is that this series has another Doctor in it, and we'll talk more about her when we talk about the series arc.
Oh, yeah.
And when they're on the screen together...
If I may, it's almost like Jodie's afraid to be the Doctor.
Yeah. But when those two Doctors share the screen together, that other Doctor runs rings around her.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and it's like they have the same writer, so it's obviously not that. So what you have to boil it down to is that she's a better actress.
In that role.
Yeah.
At least, yeah.
But, yeah, and the Doctor has that same sort of issue here where she's like, she doesn't have, like you said, it's a lack of steel,
Yeah.
It's all very, like, so many villains, we poked at this, so many villains and antagonists just sort of get away. Like, Barton in Spyfall just sort of fucking walks away.
God, yes.
He pulls a Robertson from Arachnids in the UK.
Well, Robertson wasn't really a villain.
Antagonist.
Yeah, but he was trying to help them get rid of the spiders. It's just the way he did it.
But even so, it's a strange beat that not just me, and a lot of people were miffed at the fact that, wait, she just let him walk away without, arresting him or any shit? That's kind of fucked up.
Yeah,
I just realized...
It's definitely one of those things where it's like, in the past, we have had, villains get away through their own, means or whatever. We have the Master himself is the master of I've escaped, so...
Yeah.
But it just feels like when Capaldi said, be kind, like the doctor took that as be wishy-washy and not do anything.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
that you
yeah.
should
look
do.
how many. Let's try and look at the climaxes of the episodes and see how many like the doctor directly like stops and without like any real like intervention from someone else pulling the trigger. Like Spyfall, Barton gets away and the master gets hoisted by his own petard.
Yeah, she
Although
kind of got the master.
she kind of got the master. Yeah, we'll
Yeah,
give her
she
that.
tricked the master into hoisting himself.
Orphan
Yeah.
55, Bella and Kane
Saved the
just
day and then are
blow it.
left to the wolves for it.
Yeah.
Nikola Tesla.
That's the
Remind me
doctor. That's the doctor.
Okay,
Yeah.
She
so
tricks the Skipper
Nikola
Queen
Tesla.
into taking the teleporter.
Yeah.
Fugitive of the Jadoon is Ruth.
That's Ruth, Doctor. Yeah.
Yeah.
Praxeus is
That's
the gay couple.
yeah, Warren Brown.
Yeah.
I don't know
Then
what
we have.
is it Jake? Jake.
I don't remember.
I think his name is Jake.
Then we have Can You Hear Me, which is humanity.
Yeah, Jake and Adam.
That's the Doctor combined with the girl from 30th Century Babylonia or wherever it was.
Okay, we'll give it to Jodie. So that's Haunting of Villa Diodati.
That's a loss. That's a loss.
Doctor lets the lone Cyberman go.
He gets
Ascension of the Cybermen. Nothing fucking happens there. Timeless Children.
Co-Sharmas.
Fucking Sharmas.
Co-Sharmas.
So, 10 episodes, and we have 2 in which the Doctor solves the issue, like
alone
or like mainly, let's say.
Yeah.
Every other one is so you can see what we're talking about. Kat's talking about the wishy-washy.
I've just realised not a single
effectively.
episode where the companion saves the day.
Oh, yeah, that's true too. Well,
and there are 3 of them.
Can you hear me? Maybe Can You Hear Me?
Well, she's not a companion; she's a guest character.
Yeah.
It's
like
but
we're all for, having the companions actually do stuff. I mean, that's what the companion's there for.
this is why I love Clara. She does
The
shit.
companion's doing stuff. How quaint.
Yeah. In the end, we're here for the title of the show, Doctor Who. We're here for the Doctor. We want to see the Doctor, man.
Yeah.
Pull off all this crazy shit.
Yeah.
But you can see how
feels
this
more like the Doctor's friends are doing it. It's like
Mhm.
she's the Shaggy of the Mystery Machine.
Oh my god.
Zoinks!
Sometimes she manages to get him, but it seems to be almost bumbling.
Yeah.
Yeah, God.
So yeah, I think an improvement on the part of the Doctor, but not, still not quite there. And sadly, that trend continues with the companions.
Oh boy.
We still have too many.
Yeah.
Well, we're fixing that after the next story.
Well, we don't know
Apparently.
that for sure. Nothing's been officially confirmed.
Okay. Well, if the rumors were true.
It's like the worst kept secret in the show's history at this point, but there's nothing to say we
ironic
won't get
because
more
Chibnall
companions
was
to
like-
replace those 2.
Chibnall's like so spoiler phobic that he won't even let basic info that might get you excited out. Like I heard, I can't confirm this, but I saw it on Twitter that someone claimed that they're filming season 13 now, and there's nary been a peep about it.
Because they'll have to do most of the filming indoors.
Well, yeah.
And the filming that's done outdoors, people can't go out and look at it. So, in that regard, it actually helps with the lack of spoilers.
Okay, but the point I'm making is that there's not even an attempt to get us excited about it.
Here's a depressing thought. There probably will not be even a teaser trailer at the end of Revolution of the Daleks.
Well, no, they're absolutely not. Like
There might be the Doctor will return in and reveal the first episode title, but
we're not getting any Who until 2022, and it might even be 2023
after Revolution.
Assuming Revolution is New Year's Day.
That's happening.
Well, I mean, we don't know the date. Assuming it's January 1st, 2021.
The date is 25th of December.
Oh, Christmas. Okay.
I think it's a Christmas episode. I'm not sure, but I think it is.
All right. Well, even so, that's still only a week away from
Yeah.
But
and then we don't know when the next series is. They might do what they do in America and split it.
Oh, wait, like Moffat did with the.
Well, yeah, but I'm talking
years?
like instead of 6 months gap or 4 months gap, a whole year.
We've already done that, though.
Yeah.
Like, twice.
Oh, yeah, there was a year between... Series 7 was a year. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
But they might do that. They might do that.
Yeah.
Basically, either way, we're screwed on getting any Doctor Who anytime soon.
It's
so
not really their fault this time because of the virus.
Yeah.
Reviews.
Yeah. You can't blame them for being...
Oh, I'm not.
I would say it's half their fault, half the fault of the virus, just because they did want to try and spread out, when exactly they do Doctor Who series.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I would go along with that.
Yeah. So they wanted to spread it out, but also then COVID happened, so they couldn't have one next year, essentially.
Like, their plan pre-COVID was probably Revolution 2021 January, and then Series 13 2022 January, like they did with Series 11 and Resolution.
Yeah, but honestly,
could be.
COVID, let's just be honest here, COVID is probably going to continue well into next year. Just because nobody's fucking listening.
I think we'll get a vaccine in the first few months of 2021. That doesn't mean the virus will be over.
Vaccines take a lot of time to develop, like a lot of time.
Yeah, I know,
Plus
but
there's testing and everything to make sure it actually works. There's no, huge
testing's been going on for a while now.
Still.
Anyway, so companions.
Yeah. So again, do we think there's an inconsistency problem here?
Yeah.
I don't know, because honestly, I don't remember that much about the companions. They have like a B plot in Spyfall 2.
It says a lot, really, that we were clamoring for maybe more focus on the companions in Series 12 when Series 11 came out, and Chibnall responded by putting less focus on the companions.
The best and most memorable companion stuff is Can You Hear Me, where you get to see like their deep anxieties and fears and stuff. Yeah. Like, that's really good stuff, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, yes, it's handled slightly better in this series.
Yaz is there, and there's a reason.
She went from being the fourth wheel to the third wheel.
Yeah.
Because this is the problem I have with companions, and this is going to upset people, and I apologise. I think that all the companions are superficial in this series, apart from Can You Hear Me? You could substitute them for any other character, and it would still work.
Yeah.
See, now that's funny, because I have a criticism like that, but for a completely different thing that's not related to these companions.
They don't have real personalities. Graham is the comic relief. Ryan is the... They don't even bring up the fact Ryan's got dyspraxia anymore.
Oh.
Really?
Well, there might be one mention with the basketball shit.
One mention.
I think
that comes up in Spyfall and Ascension.
Where he's trying to climb up the ladder, and they have something about that. But
and yet, by the time a child comes along, he manages to slam dunk a bomb like a basketball with no difficulty.
Yeah, that's
essentially, before I rewatched this, the only thing I can remember about Yaz was the fact that I thought she was going to have a side plot where she joined the Master, and after rewatching it, that's all I can remember again.
She still might.
Yeah, no, she still might have one.
In the future, she still might join up with the Master.
Why?
Like, if you remember in Spyfall, she had a thing for O where she was following him around and being real, touchy-feely and everything.
The only problem is that would require you to actually have a personality.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
If the rumors are true and Graham and Ryan leave at the end of Revolution of the Daleks, and we get Dr. Yaz for Series 13, and nobody else, just focus on them for once.
I can't see Chibnall making it just those two.
Oh, God.
I don't think Yaz is strong enough to carry an entire series by herself and the Doctor.
Well, Rainiac, you know what you do then when you look at a character and you go, as it is now, this character's not strong enough. You know what you do? You write the character good.
Or you kill them off.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't like that. I don't like that.
I didn't say I want that to happen. I'm just saying it might happen.
Christ's
It's like I
sakes.
said before, back when we did Series 11.
Yeah.
When you have too many people, when you have too many cooks, you're going to spoil the broth.
This is not a slight on Mandip Gill or Bradley Walsh or Tosin Cole,
No.
who are fine. But again, much like Jodie, it's what they're given to work with.
It's just the idea where you have 3 different people to follow alongside of the Doctor.
I think it's fair to say that last year we ranked them in terms of best to worst companion. Graham was number 1, Ryan was number 2, and Yaz was number 3.
Yeah.
And this season, Yaz is number 1, Graham is number 2, and Ryan is number 3.
Yeah.
That sounds right, yeah. I mean, and 80% of that is due to Can You Hear Me?
Yeah, and Graham's best bits come in Praxius.
It's like Ryan, I can barely remember Ryan throughout the entirety of season 12.
Yeah, same. And I've watched all the episodes again.
Graham, I remember because he has, he has actual humor to him.
Yeah.
And Yaz, I remember because she actually got to do something.
I do love the little speech he gives to Yaz in The Timeless Children.
It's Ascension.
And then she says, you're not bad yourself, and he laughs that off. That's great.
Actually, that's an Ascension, I believe. But it is, I think, it's a good speech.
It's a good little comic moment, and it's a very human moment. I like that.
It's like one of the few good parts of Ascension of the Cybermen that I.
But yeah, again, they're not consistent, and I'm sorry to bring up Clara again.
Don't be. I love
Clara.
Clara.
Clara had depth to her. She had personality. She was a hero. She had a tragic death and then a triumphant return that made sense in the narrative.
Hellbent good. Hellbent good.
Hellbent very good. But, yeah.
Not to mention that the initial mystery around Clara was interesting. It got us hooked in.
When Ryan and Graham and Yaz eventually leave the TARDIS, I don't think too many people will be sorry to see the back of them.
It's kind of like... I don't want to say that because...
Amy's departure still hurts. Amy Rose's departure still hurts.
Fuck! Yeah.
Rewatching Manhattan was awful.
Yeah. Rose's original departure still hurts.
Donna, oh my god,
Martha and Donna's departures are heartbreaking in different ways.
Martha's I didn't really find Martha's that heartbreaking.
Well, it is
Martha's
because she loved the Doctor and he never reciprocated it, and she just said, "I'm getting out." So I think that's heartbreaking.
Martha's.
After all she did for a year to help him.
Oh, I remember Martha's now.
And she realised after that year that he was never going to love her, so she got out while the going was still good.
I didn't take that as tragic. I took it as her just like coming to terms.
It's a triumphant moment because she strikes out on her own.
Yeah.
And she does come back.
Yeah.
And then she hooks up with Mickey, and that's an interesting thing right there. But
that's weird, but okay. Yeah. These companions, and this is apt because Chibnall's very retro in some of his writing, they feel like 80s companions, you know?
Mm.
And you've watched 80s companions.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me, like, the character depth of Mel?
Yeah, screams a lot.
Screams a lot.
I like how we said it together.
I like Mel. Yeah, there's something to do with computers, and she screams a lot. That's all you get.
Ace had some depth to her.
Oh, Ace has some depth. Yeah, Ace.
Nyssa is basically keeps the entire ship on course while she's there, and Peter Davison's goofing off.
Nyss's like the straight woman.
Tegan's got personality.
Tegan's feisty, and Adric is
Adric.
I still like him.
You still like him? Yeah. Well, one day we'll do the episode where Adric. You don't know the circumstances of his departure, do you?
No.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we'll be doing that episode anytime soon.
I'm not going to pick it because I don't like it.
Let's go to that selection, in which case I am obligated to...
It's not. I don't like that episode very much.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't like an episode?
No, for once, listen to him.
Yeah.
Honey, I picked that which we do not speak about. Do you really think I care?
Well, it'll hurt you more than it hurts me.
You would care about this. A lot.
The companions of Series 12, they're there. I can't really disagree with your assessment. I mean, peeking through my notes, let's peek through my notes real quick and just see what we got here.
There's a lot of wasted potential. While you peek through your notes, there's a lot of wasted potential with these companions.
Mm-hmm.
They get like little starts of plot arcs that you think are going somewhere, and then they're never brought up again.
I really like the callback that in Can You Hear Me Again? Like, I keep praising that episode. That's like the one thing. But Ryan's guilt over seeing the Earth ruined by climate change and fucking off to go in time and space, and his friends guilting him over it as his worst nightmare. That's deep shit.
Yeah.
Yaz's the reveal of what Yaz was doing, like her big fear, her dark memory. That's real striking shit.
Yeah, and Graham's cancer.
Yeah. Like, I'm looking through his notes, and really all of this is just doctor shit. And, like, I'm looking at Nikola Tesla, and all I've got is like, paralleling Tesla with the doctor and shit. Or should I say mirroring?
And another huge... Yeah, I called that mirroring reference. Shut up. Another huge problem is that, particularly when it's Chibnall writing, or co-writing...
I remembered another one. I remembered another Yaz moment. Praxius, when she YOLOs into the thing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
So that's a moment for
Again,
Yaz.
there are little bits and pieces here that could lead to something really interesting, and then they're just forgotten about. I mean, Ryan's, let's face it, improbable quick romance with Bella is never brought up again.
Yeah.
He never turns around and says, "Why the hell did you abandon her? I'm leaving," or "I don't like this." The next episode is like she never existed.
God.
Graham's cancer is brought up maybe twice. Although that was more of a Series 11 plot point, in fairness. And
It's just brought up in his nightmare, and Can You Hear Me?
Yeah, it made sense in the context of Zellen's nightmares. In Can You Hear Me? Yaz nearly dying in Spyfall Part 1 is never brought up again. Yaz possibly joining up with O/the Master is never brought up again.
Is that like textual, or... Because I don't remember this.
Stick with me, Yaz, because I can control everything.
Okay.
Yeah, it's more of a feeling sort of thing.
And she was flirting with O back when he was O.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Right.
But, yeah. And another problem, I think this is not a problem. The reason why there's so little meat on the bones of these companions is there is so much screen time, too much screen time given to the guest stars.
Yeah, I can
Tesla, I think, gets more lines of dialogue than Ryan in their episode.
Yeah.
It's almost like she has temporary companions, this Doctor, because she has.
I mean, you've got Loveless and Core.
Yeah. Don't they joke? Don't they joke that when they see Ada and Noor with the Doctor, oh no, we've been replaced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've got the ragtag band of miscreants from Orphan 55. You've got the three
more
people
fuckers than you count in Orphan 55.
You've got the three people in Praxius. You've got Nikola Tesla and Thomas Edison, who, by the way, are both great.
You've got Ruth.
You've got Ruth in Fugitive. You've got again, I can't remember her name. Sorry, is it Talib?
Gabriella? No, the other one.
The one in the veil in like 13th century Iran.
I don't remember her.
The one that's got the fear.
Yeah.
Talia, anyway, her. I think you know who I mean.
Yeah, I know who you mean.
You've got Mary Shelley and Percy and Lord Byron
in Haunting,
and you've got survivors. You've got survivors in Ascension and Timeless Children. You've got all this extra emphasis put on characters, and it takes it away from the companions. And this is why we shouldn't have three companions.
Yeah, I can agree with you there.
Do you guys remember when I said in the Series 11 retrospective how it feels like a game of The Sims? Where you're having trouble controlling all the other people?
Yeah.
Something that they do in The Sims as well is that when an event, or at least in the old Sims, when an event happens, it's very quickly forgotten about. It's no longer something that affects them. In new Sims games, they obviously changed that, blah, 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 whatever. It's not about the Sims.
And it's been
That's
2
what
years.
it feels like. That's
Yeah.
what this feels like. Like, there are a bunch of Sims that have been put in to play a role. Someone behind the scenes is just directing them to do this thing, and then they immediately forget about it.
It has been 2 years since you made that observation, and it's still right.
Wild.
It hasn't changed in 2 years.
It's like they take Ryan and they have him go over to Bella, and he starts making flirty, messages at her, and then she's gone, and then that relationship is entirely gone because they used a cheat code to get rid of it or something.
They used a cheat code.
Use a cheat code.
Quick, pop in the game, Genie.
Quick, type Shift Control C and type in Motherload to get a ton of money.
Another reason, perhaps, why there isn't much focus on these companions is the plot arc for this series.
Oh boy, here we go. Okay, so
Alright.
can I go full ham here?
It's at this point where I take off take the reins off you and let you go full hog.
Like I know that the two of you are like the Rich Evans superimposed image right now. I think you know the one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's something kind of fucked up that keeps happening in this series, and it keeps happening in this series. And there's further evidence that this shit is going on that happened during lockdown. Huh?
Yeah.
So this series, and here's my grand statement: someone at the BBC, not just Chibnall, but like some people in charge of creative at the BBC, are just totally all in banking on Tennant era nostalgia. Like, okay, you have Spyfall 2. Gallifrey has been destroyed. You're the last of the Time Lords again. And like, here's the thing. Okay, I've said this before. I'm pretty sure I said it on the podcast we did, if I did it. But when Russell T Davies destroyed Gallifrey, a metaphor for the cancellation of the show and it coming back, this great traumatic event that happened during the cancellation. Mm-hmm. Everyone died. A great massive war, and you're all alone, setting up a new status quo for television, which you get. In the 50th, Doctor Who was the biggest thing ever. It proved itself to be a success, so Moffat again made a metaphor for Doctor Who having proven itself and went back and fixed the Time War and let the Doctor heal. There was a big so there was a metaphor going on there. What is the goddamn metaphor for Chibnall having the Master blow Gallifrey again and kill everyone that was on it?
Fuck all your shit.
Fuck all your shit. Because I found out some obscure lore about fan-wanky nonsense. Like,
found out some obscure lore. He just made it up.
He just made it up.
He pulled it out of his backside.
Yeah.
There's no point to it other than like reminding you, trying to set up a status quo, just like the one from 10 years ago when everyone liked the show and loved David Tennant.
And that is the part of Spyfall that feels the most like a fan fiction. The parts where it actively takes from other things that happen in Doctor Who.
Speaking of fan fiction,
there is nothing wrong, right, with having the idea that the first Doctor is not actually the first Doctor. It didn't need an entire series arc to explore it.
I mean,
just leave it as a little Easter egg in the background of the brains of Morbius.
The brains of...
Sorry, Brain of Morbius.
Brain of Morbius, yeah, but I'm like saying fuck's sake the idea there.
I'm sorry, I'm getting so irate about this. I'm adding in plurals that don't exist.
Okay. No, but here's the thing I wanted to poke at. Kat, your fan fiction assessment. Yeah. Do fanfics like to trot out recognizable characters a lot? Just to go, hey, it's like which brings me nicely to Fugitive of the Jadoon, which Fugitive of the Jadoon is like almost hyper specific in this because it's laser focused on reminding you about 2007. You have the Jadoon, debuted in 2007 and haven't really been seen. It's like had a cameo here or there, but This is their first focus episode since 2007.
And
You
hey,
have
hey,
the
who's that over there?
Oh, hang on. I'll get to him. I'll get to him. But you have the Roof Doctor being awakened with a fob watch, chameleon arch, which, hey, it's like that really good episode from 2007. Remember
in fairness, I love that.
It's a good episode, and it's a neat plot twist, but you can see the darker side of it, right?
Yeah, it's going back to what worked.
And then, as Kat said, out of goddamn nowhere, and John fucking Barrowman shows up to make everybody squee and remind you that Jack Harkness exists. Which, Kat,
I will admit, when I first saw him, I did squeal out loud, and then I paused and said, "Wait, why the hell are you here?"
I will give John Barrowman's involvement in Fugitive a pass on one condition.
Right.
That he turns up again in Revolution, and there's a reason for it. It's not just fan service.
Oh, I can tell you right now he's not going to.
Okay. But, yeah, like, here's my thing with it. Like, in the first place, a lot of people have to John Barrowman for shit he said that I won't really go into. But that's on them. That's really besides the point. Your opinion on John Barrowman.
Now all I'm thinking of is that gif of David Tennant shouting Barrowman on Nevermind the Buzzcocks and shaking his fist in the air.
Here's the thing. John Barrowman's role in Futures of the Dune is just to expout arc words and make you go, it's the guy from the show I liked 10 years ago. That's it.
Yeah.
And to have a joke where he keeps mistaking the companions for the Doctor.
Which, they keep doing that, like mistaking Jodie Whittaker, like mistaking male people for the Doctor.
Yeah,
and
Stephen Fry does it with Graham. Captain Jet does it with Graham.
Yeah.
Is Yaz ever mistaken for the Doctor?
I doubt it.
It's a shame, because that would have been cool.
But Fugitive, that could have been anybody.
Yeah.
It could have been Maisie Williams. It could have been Jenna Coleman. It could have been Freema Agyeman, if you want to go with the 2007.
I honestly had a really bad feeling they were going to do River for a while.
If it had been a Shielder, I'd have loved that.
It would have been. I
don't think Maisie Williams was able to appear because she's doing other things. She was Game of Thrones at the time, and also the New Mutants.
I can't say how I'd react if it was a companion I liked as opposed to John Barrowman, but there's nothing there.
Let's face it, Maisie Williams is high in demand at the moment, so I don't think she's going to return to Doctor Who anytime soon.
There's nothing here. He says an arc word and reminds you of 2007 and fucks up.
Basically, Captain Jet's appearance in Future of the Dune is shameless fan service that doesn't add to the plot, and actually the episode is better if you completely remove his part.
Indeed, and I actually want to mention. I actually want to mention her again for the fourth time in a row on the podcast. But Krista McTeer, writer of Back to the 11th Hour.
At this point, I think we just need to put a recurring credit for Krista.
No, I was talking with her.
To the fourth member of our podcast, Krista.
Oh my god!
You joke, but I could ask her to get on the shit.
I have been told the idea next year of getting in some guests. Like the free regulars and a guest. Maybe we should reach out to Krista.
I'll be that olive branch. But anyway, I mentioned this very thing to Krista, complaining about John Barrowman. Think about this. And she actually sent me a fan edit she did of Fugitive that removed John Barrowman.
Oh, so she was that guy that didn't like the fact Jodie Williams was the Doctor and therefore stopped doing edits.
Don't fucking compare Krista to Who Flicked.
Here's the thing.
Krista, before you send me poop to my house, I don't mean it.
We love you.
Here's the thing about Jack Harkness and his appearance in Fugitive of the Dune. What episode number is Fugitive?
Number 5.
How soon after that do we then start to get all the stuff that has to do with the Lone Cyberman?
Number 8.
8, yeah.
It's too soon to when the actual thing happens, in my opinion.
That's because there are too few episodes.
Yeah. But here's another thing.
Spyfall, that would be a different thing. But this one is just hey, let's throw in Jack Harkness.
One thing this has proved is that a series of Doctor Who in the modern era needs at least 12 episodes to percolate.
Yeah, but I believe it or not, I'm not done because I have an even bigger conspiracy.
Oh,
think
I
it's
believe
done,
you're not
but
dumb.
it's just-
I believe you're
it's
not
one
dumb.
of those things where it's one of those things where when you have a plot point that is so central to not only the overarching story but also the ending of the series, you need to introduce like hints of it as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Well, they had
Because
everything you
otherwise
think
it's
you
not
know is
fun.
they had everything you think you know is a lie, but beyond that, it is nothing. It's
It's
1,
like-
5, 8, 9, 10. So like half the series. But-
It's like I hate to keep harping on this, but it's the series that I go back to the most because it has the most problems. Harry Potter did this where they introduced the Deathly Hallows way too late. And
Yeah.
had there been hints of it in the first book, second book, so on, I would be less irritated by it. But now it just feels like she pulled a magical MacGuffin right out of her
Yeah,
ass.
I mean, the in fairness, one of the Hallows is in the is in the book series from the beginning.
But it's not treated as anything
No,
special.
you don't
aside
know
from
it's a
a
Hallow
It's
because
not.
she wants that to be a big surprise.
She's making it up as she goes along.
But I think, and I think I can say this being a writer myself who hopes to be published one day, you've got to like seed the surprise so that you don't give it away too early. But when it comes in, it's not completely out of the blue. You go back and say, oh yeah, okay, well that's an amazing twist. But looking back, there were hints about it, and I'm sorry to do this. Absolutely, the best examples of this were the earlier series of the modern era of Doctor Who. Davies was fantastic at this.
Yeah.
Which makes the next point I'm going to make all the wilder, because I'm actually done talking about this part of Series 12, the David Tennant nostalgia thing, but this permeates the entire goddamn brand, as we've seen through lockdown. Like, you've heard of this Time Lord Victorious thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's basically just Doctor Who in lockdown doing, like, their big comic book style, Avenger style crossover thing. Like, they're shot at the MCU, in a way. Like, here's a bunch of audios, comics and stuff, and it's all centered around David Tennant, who hasn't been Doctor Who in a decade.
It's set around David Tennant and Paul McGann.
Yeah, okay, and also you have the 13th Doctor comic line, which repeatedly has had her crossover with 10.
Yeah.
Like you would not be. Let me try to formulate this right. It's like they're not even letting Jodie Whittaker. But they're just shoving David Tennant in your face.
Whether you agree with this or not, for better or for worse, David Tennant is seen as the gold standard in modern Doctor Who.
Yeah.
And he was brilliant, but I don't think he was the gold standard.
Yeah, but, like, here's the thing. Okay, he was good. I liked him, but that was 10 years ago. You gotta let the new Doctor shine and come up with new shit, rather than just remind me of the old shit. I know Doctor Who is difficult with this, especially in the other eras where it's like, hey, here's this classic monster that's back. But, like, here's the thought. Imagine the 12th Doctor era. Imagine if all they did was, like, bring back a big plot arc involving the Slitheen.
Oh, God.
And all the tie-in material, the comics were a multi-story arc involving 9 and 12. And they had a big grand thing involving 9. Like,
well, if they did that, then I guarantee that we get Paulie on board for watching it.
Well,
I will say one thing about why I think 10 is so popular. So we had the rebooted series where they tried to bring back Doctor Who. Did the 9th Doctor do that well in like polls? Were people like super into him?
I don't know.
I don't think they would be. He was a little too dark for the series.
Until Peter Capaldi came along, and I'm sorry, Jerry, but with the critics at least, Heaven Sent is seen as one of the best episodes of the entire show.
Well, that's not even what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is that it feels like David Tennant brought in the most fans, so that's why they keep going back to him.
He's the Tom Baker. He's the Tom Baker of our generation.
Apart from Blink and Midnight,
fangirls. I'm just going to say that right. He brought in all the fangirls.
I can think of plenty of episodes in the Tennant's tenure that we as fans adore. Apart from Blink and Midnight, they're not really that critically high up, are they?
That's not even my point. I mean, he was popular. Yes, I get it, but like, you have to let the current Doctor shine.
Another thing
And
is
the
probably
series
ratings.
And the series is already failing at that, as we've discussed.
It could also be to do with the ratings. That the ratings were at their highest with Tennant at the helm.
Yeah.
But that's just cynical bullshit.
Oh, I'm not saying
in
it's
my
right.
opinion.
I'm saying that might be the reason for it.
Like, the ratings were down in Sylvester McCoy's time too, but didn't go, Tom Baker, please come back, please come back, please.
It feels unfair to David Tennant to put the blame on this with him.
Oh, I'm not blaming Tennant.
Because he has nothing to do with this.
Like, Tennant is gonna, if they pitch him, he's gonna want to, the man's gotta eat.
And the man's a fantastic actor.
Well,
like,
I think
I'm
we
not
can sum this all
David
down
Tennant.
to one big thing. This is capitalism at work.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
People aren't really a big fan of Jodie. She's trying her best. I can see she's trying her best. But not only is the series itself failing her, but she's not doing that well as the Doctor, whether that be by her own,
I can't see her continuing more than one more series.
Well, hang on, I'm not done yet.
Sorry.
But David Tennant made the money. He's the one where everybody came in, they're like, oh, it's the Doctor, he's amazing. I think he had the longest run, too.
He's had the longest run of a
current Doctor.
The longest run in terms of series is Capaldi, I think.
No, Tennant.
No, Tennant had the 4 specials. Yeah, he got 3 full series and the 4 specials.
Yeah.
Capaldi got
Tennant
3 full
was there
series.
The longest because he was popular.
Matt Smith got 3 series.
Girls, fanboys, everybody loved him. Everybody loved his series.
It's close between Smith, Capaldi, and Tennant.
Okay, fine, but the BBC knows where the money's at. They know that if they put David Tennant's face on something, the fangirls and fanboys are going to flock to him immediately.
I do think, by the way, that as an aside, I can't see Jodie Whittaker staying for series 14 in full.
No.
I doubt it myself. 3 years is usually.
Well, it'd be more than 3 years, but it's because we keep taking a year-long break between series.
I mean, okay, 3 series, because Smith did 3 series, Capaldi did 3 series.
Yeah.
3 series.
Tennant did 3, was signed on for a 4th, and then pulled out.
Yeah.
But okay.
I think that. Do you have anything else to say about David Tennant's popularity, Frez?
Yeah, I just want to say, I get it. I understand what you're saying. It doesn't make it right. It doesn't make it right. And another point to make to that is, this is probably something you may know about me, but one of my big pet peeves is being pandered to, with reference bullshit.
Yeah.
Jack. I'm not Jack.
Oh, hey, is that Captain Jack?
Good on you for liking it. His performance, he does fine as Captain Jack, but I'm not fucking impressed by him just showing up.
No.
Yeah.
And it actually makes me like that episode a little less because it's trying
There is one
blatantly.
good thing about Jack's appearance in Fugitive.
What's
It's
that?
used very effectively to hide the real surprise.
Okay, yeah. That's a funny story, because on Twitter, people were saying, oh, Captain Jack is... Fuck! The big surprise of Fugitive Dune is ruined for... Fuck, well, I'll just watch the episode.
The big surprise, the big appeal.
Jack, the surprise is still there.
Yeah.
Nobody thought that Ruth was going to turn out to be the Doctor.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Then I got completely blindsided.
It didn't need a double fake out. It didn't.
No.
But that was good. But yeah, that is a big problem with the brand of Doctor Who as of now, is that it's so stuck on trying to recapture the appeal that I feel Jodie is suffering as a result. Her tenure is
I'll make one observation and then we'll move.
I honestly just thought of this. I found a way to improve Fugitive of the Jadoon.
What's that?
Instead of Jack Harkness, you make it so that Bella is the one who warns them.
Okay.
But Bella is not a fan favourite character.
I'm just saying, in order to get rid of the pandering, in order to get rid of the fan favorite, instead of having Jack Harkness or a past companion or whoever come in, Make it Kane and Bella, where they manage to get off of Orphan 55, and they're coming to warn about the
Okay.
lone Cyberman.
Yeah.
That would be a great way to not only fix the end of Orphan 55, but also tie it in so that, hey, this is someone we've met before.
I've got an even better idea than that, actually. Instead of somebody that we've seen before, how about somebody we're going to see?
Well, no, that I think has a little bit more work that needs to be done to it, simply because of the fact that why would Graham, Ryan, and Yaz trust that person?
What if it was Graham,
They're
Ryan?
already
What if it was Graham or Yaz or Ryan from the future?
No.
All right. I'm
I just remembered something. Else to strengthen my argument about Tennant nostalgia. Hey, how did they get out of the cliffhanger in Spyfall 2?
Yeah.
Remember Blink, kids?
Yeah. It's a shame because it's a really good cliffhanger too.
Like, I get it. Like, it works. But at the same time, when you pair it with all this other shit, it just adds to the pile of
it's a shame.
insidious
it's kind
fandom.
of like, what was the first of the new Star Wars movies?
Force Awakens?
Force Awakens. That was just basically New Hope, right?
Yeah,
pretty much pretty much beat for beat.
And it's ironic because Timeless Children is kind of a really weird muted version of The Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
Like I oh god.
But either way, this series has the same feel where it's just basically almost a reboot of what was already good.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming. I never really thought of that angle. I mean, I thought of Timeless Children, I thought of Tennant pandering Force Awakens. Yeah, you're right.
So yeah, it's just basically they're just taking beat for beat from something that was much better.
Yeah.
So here's a fun analogy. Doctor Who, the brand, right?
Last series where it was just Rings of Akaten again.
That series? Wait, what episode are we talking about?
Well, that's what I'm trying to remember.
You mean Series 11?
Yeah.
Where they feed it and it feeds it too much. Saranga.
Saranga, yes.
The Pating.
Yes.
Which, whatever you think about that episode, I don't think much about it. The Pating was a genius bit of design.
There was something else.
What you got?
I'm trying to remember.
I can't think.
There was one episode where we were like, this is a lot like Rings, where it has the sort of their own version of the leaf.
Shit.
What was it?
No, the battle.
Was it the battle?
Well, that's all about feeding energy.
With the Ux doing that.
Yeah, that's the battle.
That's it. Yeah.
Battle of Crab Rangoon?
Yes. So the Battle of Crab Rangoon was like just a big old, let's do Rings of Akaten again. And probably I'm wrong.
Excuse you, Frez, excuse you. It's the Battle of Robert Downey Jr.
Okay, but here's the point I need to make. And we'll use the Star Wars comparison. Right now, Doctor Who is playing like Force Awakens. What it should be playing is Last Jedi.
Yeah.
And now I've really pissed off you.
Can I make one more general observation before we move away from the David Tennant nostalgia thing? Because I think we've covered that more than enough now.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, the word nostalgia literally comes from the Greek word for sickness.
Yeah!
And I think we'll leave it on that.
Sick of them exploiting our nostalgia.
We'll leave it on that very intellectual sort of snobby note. But the other thing wrong with the Timeless Child arc is everything.
Well, you are British.
Okay, can I go full ham with the Star Wars thing?
If you must, you've gone full ham before. I mean, any
right,
more ham with David Cameron around. Full circle.
Oh god. Okay.
4 years in the making.
Beautiful. So I'm about to spoil the last Star Wars movie for y'all viewers. So if you care about that, you probably don't. You've either seen it or complained about it already. But in case you do, just jump ahead. Brainiac, give him something or other.
Yeah, this is I'll put a warning up on the screen.
Okay. So, Rise of Skywalker, have you two seen that?
Yeah.
Seen all three.
Unfortunately, yes.
You can understand my comparison with Timeless Children.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like, hey, kids, here's a whole bunch of fan wanky lore.
Yeah.
But here's the interesting thing about the way I read The Rise of Skywalker, which in no way precludes it being like a good movie, but makes it a more interesting movie to me, is that for all it retcons the idea of Rey being like a nobody who just did a good thing, and instead makes her have this grand destiny and bullshit, and being related the granddaughter of Emperor Palpatine and shit.
Yeah. I was going to say,
For all
just
it does
right
to
now.
give, yeah, which you can parallel to taking the Doctor, who was previously a nobody Time Lord, and making her like the architect of Time Lord mythology and the source of regeneration, all that shit. It's the same sort of bullshit. Like, the Doctor just can't be nobody. They had to have this special destiny.
Yeah. And again,
But what I took from Rise of Skywalker was that it kinda, it didn't go full tilt with it. It kind of is about rejecting that destiny and choosing your own family, because Rey outright rejects this dark side bullshit, and with the help of with Kylo Ren, kills the shit out of Palpatine and chooses her own name. She chooses to be Rey Skywalker at the end.
Yeah.
So she chooses her destiny and her family and rejects her shitty lineage in favor of something that
Also,
means a lot to her.
Also, thinking about that, doesn't that make her the last Skywalker?
Kind of, yeah. I can see where you're coming from there too. But anyway, that's what I took from Rise of Skywalker. It has a whole bunch of other problems, but it made the movie not like complete garbage for me.
Yeah.
But Timeless Children kind of plays the same thing, but not as strongly.
If this really is like a comparison to Timeless Children, serious spectators are going to remember the Doctor saying, I'm the Doctor, was going to say Doctor Who, she's going to say Dr. Mary, and then the chill thing's going to start playing in the background.
But, yeah, I mean, the climax of Timeless Children is the Doctor going, oh no, this horrible lore. Oh, there's this whole entire past I don't know, but what am I going to do? And it's just like, I choose to be the Doctor, and overwhelms the thing with her memories of being the Doctor.
Here's the worst thing about the whole Timeless Children arc. They're kind of doomed whichever way they choose to continue it. If they continue it, it's probably not going to end well. Because they'll have to continue it with who exactly is the Doctor really, and remove all the mystique, all the secrecy, and lay it out on the table, and fans will be mad.
Where did she come from?
If they drop it like a hot stone, and never mention it again, fans will be mad because we've wasted series 11 and 12.
Yeah.
There's no good option here.
Well, technically, there's a third option. There's a third option where it turns out that all of this is a complete lie and the Master's actually the Timeless Child, which isn't that much better.
That would be a better explanation, that he was just lying about her.
I mean, it's the better of the three, but it's still not better because it's...
And it means we get more Session Dewan as the Master, which is great. Yeah. So, do we want to move on? Does anyone have any observations to make about the arc?
I think I hit everything I needed.
Well, I can just go ahead and say that, I understand Doctor Who's been running for a very, very long time. At least 50 years. Maybe not including the big gap, but it's been running for a while. And I've seen a lot of the older episodes where a bunch of bullshit happens, and I kind of got used to it. But there's only so much I can actively take, if that makes sense. Where there comes a moment where your bullshit meter just explodes and it can't do it anymore. And honestly, Timeless Children and all the plot that led up to it really did that for me. Where it's like, I could take Ruth. Ruth is fantastic. I kind of wish that she did not exist, however, simply because of the fact that she's better than the Doctor that we have.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of is a downgrade on her part, which isn't, it's not her character's fault. It's not the fault of the actress. it's not anyone's fault but the people who wrote it in, which in this case is Chibnall more than likely.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where it feels like Chibnall's trying to run before he can walk. He's pulling on all these aspects from people who did a lot better at Doctor Who than he did, which you've thankfully pointed out already, Frez, with, you know, hitting beat for beat on things that happened in 2007 or whatever.
And I'll have more to say in a bit, but...
But yeah, it just feels like he's trying too hard to be, as I said before, interesting, and he's foregoing the fact that he needs to be good first.
Yeah.
And that's the part that really gets me about the Timeless Children is you can retcon some stuff. Obviously, we've shown that before. You can retcon pretty much anything just because there's timey-wimey bullshit. There's a possibility of other dimensions and everything.
Remember the McGann movie, Half Human?
Yeah. But there comes a point where you go too far. And when you essentially raise the Doctor, who was already an important character in Doctor Who because she was the title character, but when you raise that character up to something impossible, that's where I start to have a problem. That's where it starts to feel like a Mary Sue.
Mm.
Which, yeah, Mary Sue is an interesting term as far as fanfic. These days, it's bandied around as a pejorative in a way like, this female character is too competent.
Yeah.
Yeah, in that case, that's not what I'm trying to say, obviously.
No, I get what you're trying to say. You're going for more of the original definition.
Yeah.
Which in Mary Sue, which actually started as taking the piss of shitty fanfic, where it was a Star Trek thing originally. So they made this character up based on making fun of shitty Star Trek fanfiction that the writer got in the mail, because they were like a Star Trek fanfic commissioner of sorts. I don't know the proper title anyway. But like Commander Mary Sue, that's her literal name, she shows up and she's like the instant best character. Everyone's falling in love with her, all this shit.
Yeah.
It's like
Is that why they're known as Mary Sue's?
Yes.
Yeah, the original character is literally named Mary Sue.
It's essentially an original character that is inserted into a narrative who may or may not be a self-insert.
Yeah.
Where they're basically loved by everybody, including villains, minions, whatever. They're good at everything, so usually they have amazing powers that nobody else has. Sort of think of it like if Katniss Everdeen turned out to be able to do magic or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
And Mary Sue. So Superman then.
Yes.
Sort of. So, well,
I don't actually
Superman.
mean that. I just want to see the people rage.
No, I'm fully agreeing with you.
But yeah,
it's definitely a Mary Sue or a Marty Stew. I think is the male version.
Yeah.
I think you're correct in that. But they can do interesting things with Superman. Well, people know how to write Superman.
Yeah.
Well, as long as they take away some of the powers that he has, otherwise he's just too OP.
Or right around them in a creative
The only
way.
other thing I want to mention about the art before we move on, because I think we've talked enough about it, right? Is that
you could say that, but it's not true.
we could talk the whole thing about this, but I don't want to do that because I want to get some positive stuff. But the Brendan stuff in the last 2 episodes.
Oh, fuck.
The island scenes. That would have worked better, in my opinion, if they had been seeded into each of the episodes leading up to Ascension.
Yeah.
I fucking hated that.
I think I brought that point up when we talked about those 2 episodes back in March.
Well, I wasn't there for that time, but I threw in my own self-insert if I would.
You weren't there. Oh no, you weren't there for Ascension, but you were there for Timeless.
I was, yeah, but Ascension, that's so bad because on transmission, it's literally like you're 9 episodes in and you're wasting our time with this shit, and in the end, it didn't even turn out to be that anyway.
No,
the master just tells the story again.
Yeah.
And then in a throwaway line, it connects the dots. What you saw was that story just filtered.
I did like the little symmetry or the mirror imagery, if you will, of Brendan falling off the cliff and the Timeless Child falling off the cliff.
Hey,
and the fact that they did it in the exact same movement kind of gave the game away. But then they explained it.
it's what I said before with Fugitive of the Jadoon, where they introduced it too late. You can't just put it in episode 5
Yeah.
of a 10-part series
Yeah.
and then expect us to just be fine with it when it happens 2 episodes later.
But I will give the story arc 2 passes because it did give us 2 of the best parts of the series.
Okay.
And well, you can probably guess who these 2 characters are. One is Ruth, and the other, of course, is the Master.
Right. Yeah.
I'm biased here because I love everything about the Master. I love just about all of their incarnations throughout the various media, except maybe James Dreyfus, but
yeah, that's a problem.
That's less to do with his portrayal and more about who he is. But
yeah, I haven't even heard that portrayal, but fuck it.
No.
I've
heard the portrayal.
Someone talk.
Cat, for context, that guy's a transphobe.
Oh well, yeah, fuck him.
He's believed to be a transphobe. Yes.
Well,
believed enough to be sacked by Big Finish. So yeah.
Either way, the only 2 problems I have with that Rainiac is I already talked about Ruth and how it feels like she's a much better doctor and we should have gotten her in the originally instead.
Uh-huh.
The problem that I have with the Master is Missy.
Yeah,
that's my problem too.
Yeah. But I think that yeah, all right. Maybe there should have been more time passed between Missy and the Dewan Master. But
okay, here's my big thing, and this, if I may, Rainiac.
I mean, you're going to do it anyway, so go ahead.
Yeah.
I kind of talked over you. Here's my thing. We just went on a big tangent how they're going for the ratings. Tennant had the high ratings, dude. So bring back a lot of stuff from his era. Capaldi era, ratings weren't so hot, right?
Yeah.
And just so happens they completely ignore Missy.
Yeah.
While also having Captain Jack Jadoon, like the cynicism, and it personally sucks for me because I'm the Capaldi era is one of my favorite. I'd say my favorite. Capaldi era.
Not disagreeing with any of that.
So that just sucks that they simultaneously ignore the character growth. Don't even reference it. I'm bad again.
I'm in a unique position.
Let's put it this way. The Master in this series, he's an excellent actor for the Master.
Oh, yeah.
He's doing fantastic.
He's perfect.
He's fun as hell. The problem comes from the fact that when she died, Missy learned things. She learned how to be good. She went against her own self, literally, in order to be able to try and help save people. And she was learning things. And now it's just all the way back to, I'm Sims, I'm evil, look at me, blah, 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 blah.
The only way this gets a possible pass is we don't know where Dewan fits into the timeline.
I guess, but it still comes to the fact that he's coming right after Missy.
Yeah.
And
I basically just have it headcanon. I've accepted sort of the whole timeless child thing. Really just drove the newly regenerated Dewan to go back to being bad because he was so offended by it. But even the fucking line of dialogue or something.
If Cat's whole theory that the Master is the timeless child.
He committed genocide against his own people because of this. Put in a fucking line that shows why it's so bad.
Show him killing them? Actually show him destroying Gallifrey?
It's let's just break this down. The Master learns about the timeless child. The Master learns that the Doctor is the timeless child. And for possibly, we're still on the fence about that. But basically, the Master learning this information causes him to go to Gallifrey, which was hidden, by the way. We need to mention that Gallifrey was hidden by the Doctor. He manages to find Gallifrey, kill everybody on it, and then go and fuck with the Doctor.
Yeah.
Because of this one news.
Your theory.
Need to know more.
Your theory that the timeless child is actually the Master and not the Doctor, and he's lying to her. If that's the case, he has a legitimate reason for destroying everybody.
Like, the read for the Master doing the shit is the Doctor's DNAs and every time the Doctor's
Oh, don't get me
part of
started on
him.
that.
That's basically like the closest justification you have. For
If everything you know is a lie, is taken as read, and therefore what we think is that the Doctor the Timeless Child is a lie, and it's actually the Master, that lie and everything you think you know is a lie also refers to him, and that's why he went nuts to destroy Gallifrey.
The problem is though that still doesn't make sense, and just in the context of Missy.
And it won't until series 13 at the earliest.
No,
but I mentioned it.
But let me explain. Let me explain what I'm trying to say.
Go ahead.
You guys keep talking over me. And
Sorry. Go ahead.
But basically, what I'm saying is, if it does turn out that, as far as we know, this is the Master right after Missy, correct?
We don't know, but let's assume that he is.
But we're assuming just because of the timeline, correct?
Yeah.
So if we assume that this is the Master right after Missy, something I could see happening is that if it turns out he is the Timeless Child, I could see him going and killing off all the Time Lords simply because he doesn't want his madness going into all the Time Lords. And thinking that, all the bad stuff they did was because of me. That's something I could definitely see happening. However, he tells the Doctor that the Doctor is the Timeless Child. And that's where it stops working for me. Because if it was the Master directly after Missy, then he would say that he was the Timeless Child. That he was the one who became part of all the Time Lords, and they had to go because it was him.
But
so that's
also,
the only way that it doesn't work for me is.
But also, taking for the moment, assuming the Doctor was the Timeless Child, I think there's also like a reading where you can say Missy's turn to good that the Dewan Master would see as the Doctor's like goodness, like as a sickness in his veins or some shit because of the regeneration DNA nonsense, but which is fucked up in a lot of ways. But like,
what happened to Missy after she turned good?
She died.
Right. Do you not think then that, assuming that he does come after Missy, and some hokum happens to resurrect him, he thinks, right, when I became a good person, I died. Not going to do that again.
Which I can understand that, but also like, fucking say it, Chibnall.
Yeah.
You have to, like, if you're going to do that, like, again, this is aggravating me with the simultaneous Tennant era nostalgia bullshit. You have to say that. You have to acknowledge that. You can't fan service one era and completely ignore the emotional resonance of another era without so much as a throwaway line.
Plus,
like, there's a line.
Sorry, but I was just going to say, there's something that we have to keep in mind, too. What was the reason behind Missy doing all the terrible things she was doing? When she brought back all the dead people as Cybermen.
She wanted the Doctor to be her friend.
She has been entirely about the Doctor this entire time.
Yeah.
So then, if she found out, or if, the current Master found out that the Doctor was a part of them all along, wouldn't then they be excited about that? Because I would be. Yeah, knowing that I have this connection to my friend, and they can't deny that we have a connection.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point too. Like, the Missy of Darkwater, Death in Heaven be elated, and she kind of rub it into Kawali's face. But like, yeah, when we did Spyfall 2, I found a comic panel for the 13th Doctor.
Yeah.
Where Jodie Whittaker just sadly mentions Missy and says she was doing so much better. Like, that's all you need.
Yeah.
That's all you needed, Chibnall. Just her being like, oh, fuck, and you're doing good. What happened?
I think the problem here is just the fact that he came after Missy.
Yeah.
Anybody who comes after Missy as the Master is definitely going to be a lot worse just because Missy was such a fantastic
character. I mean, not to get full Tennant cynical again, but hey, what does Sacha Dhawan's portrayal remind you of? in terms of masters.
Sims.
Yeah, so
half John
He is
Sim,
basically just Sims again.
half John Sim, half Mr. Clever.
Yeah, I can see that half, but you can see what I mean too. It's like it just drives me up the fucking wall.
Yeah.
It really just snapped. It really just snapped with me here.
We can say that he's a fantastic master.
However,
there's two parts to him that essentially he fails at. The first part is that if he does come after Missy in Regenerations, that he fails on that because Missy was such a good character and he learned things. And the fact that it doesn't translate over to Sasha makes it a bit weird and not right. Yeah. The second part of this is the fact that he came after Missy chronologically. Like I said before, nobody can really top Missy in my opinion just because she was so good at what she did.
Exactly.
So that's the two parts where he fails, which are not entirely his fault. In fact, I would say they're not his fault at all because this is the character that he was given. However, depending on how much input he had into how he was going to act out the character, that could also have some part into it as well.
Like we really needed a couple year break in seasons between Missy and another incarnation, and B, for there to be some explanation of why they went bad again. If they had
planted Sasha between some other masters at some point,
there was 4 years between John Sim and Missy.
Mm-hmm.
And there was what? Missy left at the end of series 10. When was that?
2017. 2.5 years.
So 2.5 years. Yeah, that's not enough time.
Yeah.
And that's only one series in between.
Yeah.
Like one 10-episode series.
And honestly, to me, it feels like this is supposed to be the next reincarnation after Missy, just because of the things he says and does.
Also, hey, remember 10 minutes ago when I insinuated this was the positive part of the video? Turns out I lied.
Oops.
I'm sorry. It's just really hard to be positive with all
this.
It
is not your fault. The only point I wanted to make was that, for me, yeah, all right, he's too soon after Missy, but ignoring all of that, he is just perfect in terms of acting as the master. His debut, Spyfall Part 1. Do you remember how I said that the problem with the Timeless Child arc is that it's too much of a twist with not enough seeding?
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't do that with the master reveal, and that's why it's one of the best reveals of all time.
It's a really good scene.
He sees just enough for it to not be a complete revelation, but I fell off my chair.
Wild.
It's the first time I saw it. Well, not literally, but you know what I mean. And then you go back and you watch it, and there are little things like you know, who's doing this? And then Silver Racket Shorty says, oh, there's the brilliant joke of the literal catfish that O sends to the doctor. There's a little joke there. There's the fact that they don't, the Kasavin, are they called? The aliens?
Kasavin.
They don't go after O when they've got a great chance to do so. Mm-hmm. They let O capture them in his little electric net. And then, of course, there is the reveal itself. And he goes from, I was the last to ever race at school. Now you were a champion sprinter. Oh, you got me. Well done. Just the 180 there is fantastic. He acts his socks off in that 5 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not his fault that he's turned into he is portraying a Nazi in part 2.
Can we mention, by the way, since we haven't, I know we're trying to be positive, but, I removed your reception filter. Now
we did cover that extensively when we did Spyfall Part 2.
Okay, but it has to be said again. What the fuck?
Oh, yeah, there are a number of those moments. I mean, the fact that they filmed a death scene for Noor... it didn't air, but they still filmed it. The fact that Kane and Bella are left to the literal wolves. The fact that Ada and Noor had their minds wiped. All of that, and I'll use the word, is problematic as hell.
Yeah,
that fits. It's tone deaf. It just seems almost cruel.
It feels like the Doctor's priorities are in the wrong places.
I don't think that Chris Chibnall is a bigot. I don't. And I don't want to be too nasty about the man because he just gave a lot of money to charity.
That's nice of him.
I think he is a
but
decent
you can give money
person.
to charity and still be a bigot.
I think he is a decent person. I just think he is misguided as a writer in certain things.
Yeah.
Inconsistent. Let's say that.
Well, I don't think it's inconsistent with the Norse stuff. I think that's straight up misguided.
Yeah, but like also like we said, not doing it to Tesla.
But
inconsistent.
Yeah, for all you said that all right, he's too soon after Missy, and I agree with you. But he is a highlight of Series 12.
Yeah.
Series 12 would be a lot worse if somebody else was the master or he wasn't in it at all.
Like, I know we've been kind of on a downer train, but that's just the way we're taking it. We're looking at it overall. But like, if we were doing this episode by episode, I have lovely things to say about episodes that are going on my top 3.
Yeah, but we're not doing episode by episode because we've already done that. So
yeah,
this is the overall arcing series.
You can look at episode by episode. You can look back.
The other big highlight is Joe Martin as Ruth.
Nothing but good to say.
This is there's only one bad thing about this, and she overshadows Jodie Whittaker at every turn.
Yeah,
that's unfortunate, but like, holy fuck, she's so...
there's a little bit where it says, if she had been the Doctor for this series, would the series have been better?
I think so.
If they called an audible and had Jodie go after one series and Joe Martin was the new Doctor, or perhaps Joe Martin is the future Doctor instead of the past.
Oh, I would be so down with it.
At the very least, I wanted to do Big Finish.
Please, God.
Actually, in that case, I now have 2 things that are wrong with her, other than, obviously this is the first where she overshadows the current Doctor, and then there's the second one where we won't see her in any sort of Doctor Who TV show.
No, unless she's the 14th Doctor. Unless she's the 14th Doctor, but yeah.
Which, you're going to have to jump through a lot of...
Yeah.
Considering.
It is a shame. Yeah. But, no, you can probably guess what my top episode is when we get there, but the whole bit that leads up to that reveal of the fob watch, and I know that's nostalgia for Series 3 again, but I said before that came on the screen, I love the idea of the fob watch, and I'd like to see it back, and here it is, and it's implemented in such a beautiful and logical way.
Yeah.
And there is twist after twist, there is fake out after fake out in Fugitive, and of course she's the Doctor, who else would she be? But they lead you down the garden path in such a good way. Because she's simultaneously the Doctor, and so unlike the Doctors that we know.
Like, I can complain about the pandering of Captain Jack. Fugitive of the Jejune is a good episode.
Yeah. So yeah, Ruth is fantastic, but there's not much more I can say about her. Just a few praise.
I can say I did like that. Again, going back to the timeless Shaw Rise of Skywalker comparison, she's the one who helps get the Doctor up and motivate her at the end. She's like the voice of like reason, saying, "Hey, you're the Doctor."
That bit's lovely.
Yeah, it's good.
Every proceeding it, not so much.
Yeah, not so much, but that's nice. That's a nice. We're talking about Joe Martin and praising.
We are, yeah. And my favourite scene of Series 12 is, let me take it from the top. Hello, I'm the Doctor.
Beautiful.
And just Jodie's absolute look of disbelief.
To be fair, we had that look too. We were like, "What in the?"
Yeah, I mean, when they said you don't want to miss this, they weren't kidding.
Yeah. And I will admit, at the beginning, I was very, very angry about this, just because it was like, oh god, he's fucking with the Doctor Who lore again. But once you got to know Ruth, she's such a good Doctor. Please, someone make more stuff with her.
Oh, I'm sure they will.
Have her meet Missy, and I would be, happy.
Oh god, yes.
At the very least, can she have a series of official comics?
Yes.
Yeah,
something.
please.
Well, actually, no, not even that. I wanted to actually be her because her actress is just so fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, how about this? Joe Martin meeting River.
Yes.
There you go.
How about Joe Martin?
Actually, we can't because the sheer amount of lesbian fan fiction is just going to...
How about Joe Martin and Missy?
Oh, well, Kat just said
I
that.
just said that.
Oh, sorry. How about Ruth and Derek Jacobi, Master?
Maybe.
I like how we're getting low diminishing returns here of each subsequent incarnation of the Master. But,
Joe Martin and the Merca!
oh god.
Ruth Doctor and the 12th Doctor.
Yes.
Oh, there you go. Now we're back up. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
We could make these up as we go, but
Yeah.
Joe Martin good is our
Joe Martin,
Yeah.
very
We're
good.
actually-
Yeah.
We're actually saying something nice.
Fantastic.
And we'll just briefly touch on the guest characters, because I think they are a mixed bag. The best guest character is Nikola Tesla.
Yes.
Agreed.
The second best
Yes.
character is probably Thomas Edison.
Yeah, that's fine, maybe.
Yeah. Mary Shelley, unfortunately, doesn't do great in the episode she's in.
Yeah.
The Red Temple and Survivors are completely forgettable in the two-part finale. Ada's good.
Shelley is the goth to end all goths, and you've ruined her.
Who else have we got that isn't Ruth? The trio in practice
Jack
is alright.
and,
Ryan's mate's alright.
No, it's not Jack.
Don't forget Benny!
We're not even going to touch on that.
Benny!
Jake and Adam.
Yeah, the Doctor Who TV April Fool's joke was great this year. I forget what the name of the actress is who played Benny's companion in All 55, but their April Fool's joke was, she's the next Doctor.
Beautiful.
That got some angry reactions from people who realized, oh yeah, it's April the 1st, duh.
But yeah, like you say, the guest characters are fine, but they also do overshadow the Doctor and Companion. They take up the focus of the episode.
There's also a lot of them. Like a lot of named characters.
Yeah, there's a
Holy
lot
crap.
of people.
There are too many.
Yeah. Well, as you
I
said.
think also that the monsters and the villains are an improvement overall in Series 11.
Like,
The original monsters and villains, anyway. I don't like the fact that Barton escapes with
Nor do
no
I.
consequence.
but the Kasavan were really good.
Kasavan
is-
are fun little ideas. The best original villain is Zelen.
Absolutely.
Zelen is great. Fantastic design, lovely idea behind him. Acted off the screen.
I just wish that Rakea was better.
Then you have...
Yeah. And I wish he wasn't defeated
Well,
so easily.
arguably, Man is the villain of Orphan 55, but the Dregs are also really striking.
Oh, the Dregs are a fantastic design. The Skiffer
Yeah,
are great.
Skiffer are great. They really tie in.
They are like prototype Ragnos, but or
The Jadoon are, well, they're the Jadoon, and I mean, it's kind of, again, like we said with the Corona thing,
yeah.
unfortunate that it should air in 2020, in a year when, police brutality was a hot button issue.
And if he counts as a new villain, Ashar has so much potential and they just squander it.
Oh, the lone fucking cyber. Oh, fuck's sake.
He's
Like-
great in Villa.
He is. He's a really haunted
He's
thing,
terrifying in Villa, particularly when he says, I did have children and I slit their throat when they joined the resistance. Like, oh my god.
Yeah.
And then he goes to
The idea
Ascension.
of someone joining the Cybermen willingly. Is
And then he
just
goes to
terrifying.
Ascension and he devolves into Stompy Shooty.
Yeah.
Yep.
And all that
And
potential
what-
is squandered.
Was it an
And-
Ascension or a Timeless Children where he got minimized?
Timeless Children.
Timeless Children.
We should also mention in Timeless Children the most hilarious and again I say it fanfic thing.
Yeah,
the
but
Cyber Lords.
I will have nothing said about the Cybermasters apart from the fact they should have been called the Cyberlords. They're brilliant. No. It's a brilliant idea because it's so crap.
It's so
Fucking outfits. Oh my god.
But it's what the Master would do.
I know. But
If he
it still
had the
hurts.
capability, he would say, I'm going to take the might of the Cybermen and I'm going to get my revenge on my own people and we're going to meld them together. It works so well. I don't care if it's like meta commentary or Chris Chibnall laughing at himself. It's great. I want to see them back.
I mean,
It's like,
you want to talk about.
I'll admit that does make sense, but also, oh my god.
The problem
You
is
wanna
if you
talk
bring them back, they're
meta
too overpowered. But
You want to talk meta commentary? It's that really weird moment in Timeless Children where Rashad basically says, the ascension of the Cybermen will be turning ourselves into fucking robots. And the Master's, that's the stupidest thing I've ever.
That's great, though. That's great.
Like, it's shit that's the plan, but Chibnall wears.
Yeah. The weird thing about Timeless Children is how the Master says so much was done to your people, I want to put it right. But wasn't it the Daleks that were persecuted by the Time Lords?
That's true.
There was no great evidence that the last great cyber war was just between the Cybermen and the Time Lords.
Who the hell knows? But, we got anything else we need to mention here?
I think we should move on to our top three and our bottom three and then wrap this baby up.
Oh, yeah.
Because this has just been depressing.
Rain, you want to start it?
Yeah, should we do the bottom three first and get it out of the way?
Yeah, bottom then top.
Bottom is easy, much easier than the top.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So, third worst. The third worst is the ascension of the Cybermen. The second worst is the Timeless Children, and the first is Orphan 55.
I see.
And the only reason that Timeless Children is ahead of Orphan 55 is that Timeless Children has a few moments that are enjoyable, funny, and, redeem it in a sea of everything terrible, like the Joe Martin moment giving the pep talk to Jodie Whittaker, like the Master just shooting a shot in the back of him, but that's terrible, and Sacha Dhawan in general. Orphan 55 has none of that. It has completely bland and forgettable and unnecessary even guest characters who just exist to get killed off one by one, like Hyphen with a 3.
Oh god, I forgot about her.
I shouldn't be angry because one of our mutual friends wrote a story where there was a character called 3 tongue clicks, but it's actually literally 3 tongue clicks. But that's funny.
Like that?
That's funny.
It's cute.
Hyphen with a 3 is not. And there was a thing on Twitter like, if you could rewrite one episode from Series 12, which one would you rewrite and how would you do it? And the overwhelming choice was Orphan 55.
Right.
I said that I would have it so that the guest characters, there were less of them, and we were actually given a reason to care about them. Ken and Bill were not abandoned at the end. There was more I wrote, but those were the two biggest things about it. So yeah, I'm sorry, Orphan 55 is the worst of Series 12 by a margin, and it might be one of the worst episodes of the modern era.
Harsh.
And it's a shame because the environmental message is so important, and it's wasted.
Opinion valid. So, best 3.
My best 3?
Yeah.
This was harder because there's about 5 that have this claim to being the best episode of Series 12. So it really does come down to personal preference, and I don't think you're going to like this too much.
Right.
But I'll go
It's your
ahead and
opinion.
say it anyway. So, honourable mention is The Haunting of Villa Diodati. Because the only thing that drags that down is Mary Shelley is not the best performance. Otherwise, it would have easily been top 3. Oh, actually, I've just realised. Hang on a minute. Yeah, okay. So number 3, Kat, I'm sorry, it's the Nikola Tesla episode.
That's okay, as long as it's on there, I don't care.
Yeah. I think Goran Visnich is brilliant. I think so is the guy that plays Thomas Edison. Robert Glenister. I think their chemistry together is really, really good, and they don't hide the fact that Edison was a bit of a bad person, but he had his redeeming qualities, and he does help to save the day. Also, the Skifra are great. Number 2, for a personal reason, is Can You Hear Me? I love the fact that there was an episode that dared to talk about mental health and mental illness. I talked a little bit about my own problems in that regard. And so it was a really important episode for me. Also, Zellin is a brilliant villain. And number 1 is Fugitive of the Jadoon. Despite everything that I've said about Captain Jack being, unnecessary, it's just so clever, but not in a pretentious way. And Joe Martin is so good, and also the way that they build up Neil Stooks' character, I can't remember his name, but her companion, who then gets off 20 minutes in. And they build him up to be a big deal, and he's the red herring, and actually he's not anything particularly special at all to the narrative. but that is done so well. Yeah, so that's my pick.
His name's Lee. Lee Clayton.
Lee, yeah. His name is Lee, goddammit. Rush Hour 2, for those who don't get the reference. So, who would like to go next?
I'll take a crack at it, sure.
Okay. I would like to go last anyways.
Okay.
Sure. Okay.
Take it.
So, my 3 worst of Series 12. At number 3, Skyfall 2. It fucks around with Gallifrey again in a very cynical...
Yeah.
Remember the Tennant thing? And it does some terrible bullshit involving mind-wiping people who are asking not to be mind-wiped. Companions have a decent B-plot, but don't really factor in. You've got that terrible thing with the Master and Nazis that's just tone-deaf as hell. And it's not a good follow-up. It drops the ball on the otherwise quite good.
Yeah.
So it's unfortunate. Number 2 worst, The Timeless Children. It's... You can't hate it. Like, it's just so goddamn goofy and dumb, but I understand hating it. It's just fan wank.
Yeah.
It's the guy in the driver's seat finally getting to throw his, like, lore at the screen that he came up with or some shit. But it just takes the Doctor and adds all this important special bullshit that really wasn't needed. And it's just dour and dire. It does absolute stupid shit with the Cybermen, like, we want to become robots. And the Cyber Masters, the Cyber Time Lords, are... they're stupid. Like, you're laughing at the episode, not with it, I feel, when you look at the Cyber Masters.
But I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
That's not... Well, not really, but, like... It would help if you were in on the joke, you know?
Yeah.
I think the show can recover from it, but who lordy is it going to have to put in work?
Yeah.
Which pairs nicely with my worst episode of Series 12, Ascension of the Cybermen.
Oh, wow.
Which is absolutely just a 45-minute teaser for the Timeless Children.
Yeah.
Featuring Cybermen who have decent conception overall, but I think I just don't like the Cybermen very much because any like nuance that they had in other episodes, most people just see them as, it's the big stompy death robots I liked when I was 12. And that's exactly what Ascension of the Cybermen feels like. It's just dire Cybermen stomping around, blowing shit up, just big explosions and shit. There's no commentary whatsoever. And the Brendan shit is confusing just for the sake of being confusing. It's, as Kat said, trying to be interesting rather than be good. But that interesting lasts for exactly 1 week after transmission, at which point it's just revealed, oh yeah, the exposition we're telling you now, we told you it last week, surprise!
Yeah.
But I was not pleased by it. My patience had officially run out, and I was just like, Chibnall, you hack, all you've done is just delay for a week to try and make us more excited, but it took all the excitement away that I had because it was that bad.
Okay.
And I still...
Your top 3 then.
Honorable mention, and this may surprise you, Orphan 55.
No,
It's
that's
a mess.
fine.
I know it's a mess. I can't disagree. Goddamn mess. But some of my favorite Doctor Who's are goddamn, and this is a goddamn mess with its heart in the right place and screaming a message to try and save us all. Do something about climate change, you fuckers! We boil.
That would be great, but Praxius does it better in every way. We didn't need Orphan 55 in the same series we had Praxius.
Well, I don't know, but Praxius is good. It's not in my top 3. It's good.
It was maybe my 5th.
Yeah, but I appreciated Orphan 55's boldness. It's some may say preachiness more, but I appreciated that strong message that it had, practically grabbing you up.
I respect your opinion. I don't share it, but I respect your opinion.
Likewise with your opinion of Orphan 55. I can respect if not share it. But number 3 best. Number 3 best, Again, apologies, Kat. It's Nikola Tesla's Night of Terror.
Yeah, no, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, it's good.
Again, it's on there.
It's on there. It is a solid little episode that takes a theme that hadn't really been developed at the time, only in Woman Who Earth, that of the Doctor as a sort of tinkerer and inventor, and goes full ham with it, paralleling and mirroring her with Nikola Tesla, the famous inventor, and using that as well with his feud with Thomas Edison, and making the aliens scavengers, exploiting inventions, same sort of parallel. It's a really smart little that plays its themes well, and it's entertaining. Tesla's fun to watch as a proto-companion guest star, and it's good. Number 2, Fugitive of the Jadoon. I know I said that the 2007 callbacks are a little much. Captain Jack, utterly pointless, but the heart of the story that's there, and the heart is important because co-written by Vinay Patel, who did Demons of the Punjab, one of the best Series 11 episodes, and you can really feel that heart with Ruth, the Ruth before she becomes the Doctor and reveals her Fob Watch life. It's kind of like the John Smith stuff from Human Nature, but it's done in a very different way than that. And it's something I appreciate. And Joe Martin, once she becomes the Doctor, knocks it out of the park. It is a solid episode, and it's really good. And my number 1 best episode, Can You Hear Me? Which I watched the weekend. I had a little, let's just say it, anxiety meltdown, and hit me like a ton of bricks. Because it is an episode about fear. It is an episode about mental health issues, about anxiety, about depression, about all that worry, wrapped up in a little bow of almost a Nightmare on Elm Street homage in a way, with Zellen's goddamn fingers. And it's about overcoming that and how humanity shouldn't be afraid to ask for help, and humanity can overcome these things with the right assistance and being able to reach out to the right people and ask for help. And that really touches me now. It especially touched me at the time of transmission when I was dealing with that exact shit.
Yeah.
And for that reason, it is the best episode of Series 12 for me.
I thought, before you brought him up, I thought this would be your top one.
Well, you were right.
Just because it had such an emotional resonance to it when we talked about it.
Exactly.
And I did as well, but not to the same level as you.
Yeah, I mean, you deal with the same issues, but you weren't dealing with the issues on the weekend of transmission. So...
Okay, so Kat, you wanted to go last, so your bottom 3, please, Kat.
Alright, so, at number 3, I'm going to have to put Orphan 55 for this one. Pretty much for me, it's the opposite of what you said, Frez. I hate the preachiness. I think that an environmental message should have subtlety to it. You can't force it in people's faces, or else it just starts to get condescending, really. And it's one of those things that you really don't want to have, because for something as important as this, you want people to start believing in it. And if someone confronts you with it, then you immediately are putting up your defenses. You don't want to hear it. Nobody wants to.
That's a valid.
Yeah, and add that to the fact that Kane and Bella are just sort of left there. And the whole thing just it feels distasteful. It's like people have died before because of nuclear bombings, and to essentially take them down to the dregs, as amazing as the dregs are, rewatching it again, it just feels off to me. It's like we've seen other things that have monsters or creatures that are caused by nuclear fallout. We can look at the Fallout series for one thing, but it's just one of those things where it's like, I mean, they're dregs, and they were supposed to have been humans who were tainted, and then there's the fakeation stuff, and it rubs me the wrong way now.
Right.
I don't know why. Maybe I'm more cynical.
That's fair. I think we had the same sort of clash of opinion on the Orphan 55. But we can respect each other.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You're wrong, but I can respect that.
Love you too. Number 2, worst.
My number 2 worst is Praxius. After that,
Oh, interesting.
It still has the same preachiness to it, where it's like, there's the Indian Ocean garbage patch where all this plastic is, and this stuff will eat plastic, and there's plastic inside of the birds, and there's microplastics everywhere. It's like, okay, I get it. We're harming ourselves and the planet because of plastic. I know. You're preaching to the wrong people here. Because I'm not the one who's going around making plastic. It's the big companies that are making plastic. Go talk to them.
That was your objection to Orphan, too, as I recall, Cass.
Yeah, it's like, stop talking to us about this. Because while we can go and we can lobby for change, that doesn't mean that we can force changes that, are up to the companies themselves. I mean, we have options for things other than plastic. We have disposable plastic things that we can use that actually will decompose. But it's up to the companies to be able to be willing to take on those costs. And capitalism, they're probably not going to.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why these two really fail for me, is that you can have an environmental message, but make it something that I can actually get into. Like, I can go around and I can recycle stuff, but I can't go around and stop people using plastic by myself.
Yeah.
Or even with a team of people. It's not going to happen. And then, my number 1. I'm sure you guys can guess what my number 1 episode
Oh, I think I can, but tell us.
No,
go ahead.
Go ahead and guess. Guess what my number 1 episode is.
Timeless Children.
Wrong. It's Ascension.
Okay.
Hey!
For all the same reasons that Frez had, and he said it the best. It's like, you had all that stuff about Brandon, which doesn't make sense, because in the Timeless Children, they just say it again. The Cybermen are the Cybermen. Woo. I honestly don't care anymore. But is everybody else tired of the Cybermen by this point?
Yes. God, yes.
The poor souls need a break. They were fantastic in Darkwater. They were pretty good in Dr. Falls. But this is like the first time they've regressed.
It's like, it's always the Cybermen or the Daleks. One of those two. And there are so many great monsters out there that you could have in there. But no, you decide to put in the Daleks or the Cybermen. Thanks. Not helpful. But yeah, it's just one of those things where it's the beginning to more shit. It's like if they put Live the Land twice.
Oh.
And I obviously, I have my problems with the Timeless Children, and it's mostly just to have to do with the plot, but Ascension of the Cybermen started that off. Ascension of the Cybermen just has so much to it that is wrong. Frez said it best. I just can't get behind it.
I'm beginning to think I should reverse Ascension and Timeless in my list, but never mind.
It's like, if I could put Ascension and Timeless together, then I would. But if I had to pick just one of those episodes, it would be Ascension, just because that's the beginning of the end.
You're making very valid arguments and persuasive arguments as to why that might be.
All I want to say is that I hope we never do the Green Death on Classic Who. That's the Third Doctor environmentalist story.
I kind of.
Kat is writing that down on a notepad as we speak.
Yeah. Yep. It's like, anytime you guys mention a classic Doctor Who episode you don't want to watch, I'm just going to write it down. You know that.
Man, I sure don't want to watch Greatest Show in the Galaxy.
Never do Greatest Show in the Galaxy.
Reverse psychology. Got him.
Doesn't work on me.
So, best 3 then, Kat.
So, best 3 is probably going to be a little bit of a surprise. At number 3, I'm also going to put Nikola Tesla.
Wow.
Oh my.
I thought that was a nailed on number 1.
I mean, it would be, I love the entire episode. I do have some minor problems with it. You guys have already talked about it, but I love Nikola Tesla. I love Thomas Edison, even though he's an asshole. I love the idea. And it's a fun episode. It's really fun.
It really is.
But there are 2 episodes that I think are even better. And at number 2, I hate to put this, but it's Nikola Tesla's Night of Terror. It's just a little bit better than Nikola Tesla's Night of Terror.
God damn it, Ken.
And that I get to have more Nikola Tesla, and that's always fantastic. And then I think you can guess what number 1 is. I honestly, this is the only episode of this series that I liked, and it's sad, but it's true.
Really? Oh.
Yeah,
5
Fugitive
minutes.
of the Jejune was fun. It had Ruth
5
in it.
minutes.
But the fact that they panned it to us with Jack Harkness and, you know, everything having to do with
I'm wrapping it up now.
It took me out of it. And also, at the beginning, I was really angry about Ruth, and I had to kind of factor that in. It's like, you can't just pull out something like that in the 5th episode of the series. That doesn't work. Especially, like, again, when just 2 episodes later, you're going to start having the plot line go through. You know, excluding the ones that I hate, Spyfall 1 was fine, but it wasn't perfect. It was kind of ruined by Spyfall 2, which, you know, the Doctor and the Master is a Nazi, and then you have Can You Hear Me, and that's ruined for me by Rakea. I don't like her.
Okay.
I don't like that idea. Zelen is fantastic. I wish he had stayed the villain. And he had just, like, unlocked some sort of power instead of another immortal being who's just terrible.
That could have been a fun rewrite of it, but yeah.
Haunting, which...
Haunting, Mary Shelley. Mary Shelley is the most goth thing to ever goth, and you failed her.
Yeah.
You just did. You did.
Yeah.
And that, to me, that is a really big thing for me, because if you're going to center on Mary Shelley writing Frankenstein, and you're going to make it the fact that Ashad is the one who inspires her to write Frankenstein, you gotta do Mary right, and you don't.
And I mean, the last fucking part of that episode is just focused on fucking Byron.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's our list.
So I'm sorry, I think I blacked out. So Kat's list was just Nikola Tesla 3 times.
Yes.
That wasn't actually like a joke. That really was the list.
That really is my list. The only episode that I actually like from this series, enough to put it on a list of my top episodes, is Nikola Tesla.
Okay, fair enough. Well, then, I think we're just about done forever. We're talking about Series 12 because, my God. Are we, though? Are we? Because your pick's next.
Oh,
well, actually, technically, we're not finished yet because we still have to do Revolution of the Daleks when that comes out.
That's not really Series 12, though. That's a standalone special.
Right. Okay, so you want the classic Doctor Who review pick from me?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be classic, but yeah.
Oh well, no, we did kind of open the doors with the week, but no, I'm gonna go because there's one thing we haven't done in class. Well, Brainiac and I have done. The three of us haven't done it together.
Oh, you genius!
Oh, what am I doing?
Well, I'm not gonna steal your thunder, but I think I know now.
No. Please guess.
Okay, well, if I'm right, next time on Doctor Who Reviews, we're going to be looking at Vengeance on Varos.
No.
Oh, no, we're not. No, we're not. Cro-Magnon, Paradise Towers.
No.
Okay, forget it.
No. Brainiac, what we didn't do a specific... I'm not thinking of this. Well, I am, but on Doctor Who Reviews for the classics, we, the three of us, have never done a Dalek story.
Oh!
You and I did Remembrance of the Daleks together on my channel, but the three of us have not done a Dalek story. So, you did get partly right when you hit on your first guess, because next time, a Doctor we haven't looked at since I got pranked, it's Colin Baker in Revelation of the Daleks.
I love this because the next one we're doing in the main series is Revolution, so it's perfect.
Hey! So yeah, I figured.
Episode, I'm so proud.
I mean, we haven't done Colin since you pranked me.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I kind of stole your thunder.
You're never going to let that go, are you?
I'm sorry I stole your thunder and got it wrong twice, by the way.
I'm never going to let that go. Jesus Christ! You paid Colin Baker money to taunt me.
Oh, wait till you see what happens at Christmas.
Well, do we have a Christmas because of the virus?
Yes.
And on that
You're
depressing
right,
note,
it would be really difficult to get Sylvester McCoy to show up to his house.
and on that depressing note, thank you for listening to us talk about Series 12 for the past 2 hours plus.
Sorry we were so
I feel like I've aged 10 years in the course of this podcast. So let's plug some stuff and get the hell out of here. You can find us on Twitter at reviews. I just did something else there. At Reviews Doctor on Twitter.com. To talk to me, it's at Reniac the Maniac. To celebrate the end of Trumpism with Cat, it's at Concave Usurper. And to talk about mirrors with Jerry, it's at Freezing Inferno.
Please do not actually talk to Frezno about mirrors because we just got him to stop.
Yes.
He's gonna start
If
up
you want to
again.
see the next Twitch TV superstar, it's twitch.tv/Concave Usurper.
Oh, I thought you were going to say somebody else. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about?
No, you.
Oh, I've got a little. You don't mind?
Yeah, sure. Is it Krista McIntyre again?
Reminds me, I do need to finish my Far Cry 5 stream.
It's not Krista McTier. Buy Back to the 11th Hour on Amazon.com.
Why do I keep saying McIntyre like she's Drew McIntyre's sister? I'm sorry, Krista.
McTier.
Yeah.
Can we just get a tweet of hers that promotes the 11th Hour and just pin it to our Reviews Doctor Twitter?
Shit, she probably has it as her pinned. I'll get it.
Possibly.
Okay.
I don't know if you can pin other people's tweets to your Twitter account.
I think you can. I don't know. If you
screen cap her tweet then.
Anyway, it's very late in the day here, so thank you for listening to us talk about Series 12. And courtesy of Joe, we'll be back sometime next week. Probably, I don't know if we're recording on a Saturday or Monday again. We haven't figured that out yet. But the next one will be Revelation. I got it right. Revelation of the Daleks.
Starring Colin Baker.
Yeah, the return of Colin Baker.
My favorite.
Until then, thank you for listening, and bye for now.